Oh, that's delicious. If you love broccoli cheddar soup, you're going to love my 3-cheese broccoli cheddar soup. It only takes about 30 minutes to make from start to finish. Let's get into it. For this recipe, you need a half an onion, 1 garlic clove. I have 2 carrots here, but I'm going to start off with 1 and then add more as needed. I have 6 ounces of cheese, 1 crown of broccoli. I'm going to add some Parmesan cheese. I also have some Velveeta cheese I'm going to add to it. I have my flour, butter. I have some heavy cream here mixed with milk. I have some chicken broth, and I have some salt and pepper for seasoning. So this is what I'm going to start with. I do a taste test and see if I need to add anything else. So I'm going to go ahead and chop up this onion. For the full recipe, it is in the description box of the video, so make sure that you check that out. The weather has finally cooled off where it feels like soup season. I know some of you guys have already been experiencing fall weather. I have not. It's just now dropping down to, I want to say the high 70s. The nights are starting to cool off because it was hot at night. It's stuck in the 80s for the longest time, so it's nice that I get to experience some cooler temperatures and enjoy soup. One of my favorite go-to recipes for the fall and winter is broccoli cheddar soup. I also like a delicious tomato soup, which I will make that for you guys as well. What is your favorite go-to soup for the fall and winter? Comment below. I want to know. What I love about this recipe, it is a 1-pot recipe. So if you don't want to wash a lot of dishes, you don't have to worry about that because everything goes into 1 pot. So I've added in my butter. I'm going to let that melt while I peel my carrots before I add in the onions. I don't have a grater large enough to grate this carrot, so I am going to slice it up with my knife. If you have a grater with larger holes, then go ahead and use that. But I'm using what I have. And I don't have room for one. I don't have room for one. Actually, you know what I just thought about? I think I do have one, a small one that I used maybe a couple of years ago, but I don't know where it is. I don't know. I've been decluttering. It's that time of year again to declutter and get rid of stuff. So I may end up using both of these carrots. I think I will. I'm going to go ahead and use both carrots because this one here is fairly small. It's not a large carrot. All right, got a few more minutes on that butter for it to melt. I'm going to go ahead and crush up my garlic. I got a question for you guys. How many of you decorate for Christmas before Thanksgiving? I have been ready to put up my Christmas decorations for quite some time. I haven't done it in past times before Thanksgiving, but I've just been wanting to decorate. And so I have Christmas decorations, so why not put them up? But I'm trying to hold off until after Thanksgiving. But I want to know who put their Christmas decorations up. If you wait till December 1st to put up your Christmas decorations, you don't have that much time to really enjoy them. So, I don't know. I've been itching to put them up before Thanksgiving. All right, the butter is nice and hot, so I'm going to go ahead and add in my onions. I don't want my hands smelling like onions, so I'm using this spoon to kind of scoop it in to the pot. And then the garlic is also mixed in with the onions. So I'm going for a ½ cup of onions. This is a little bit more than a ½ cup, so I'm not going to use all of it because I only want a ½ cup for this recipe. I don't want it to overpower my soup, so I will save it for the next recipe. I'm going to add a little bit more onions. I'm going to let the onions cook for a few minutes before I add in the flour and the rest of my ingredients. You can chop up your broccoli into smaller pieces. I do want chunks of broccoli in mine, so I'm going to do a little bit of both. I'm going to chop up a few crowns into smaller pieces, and then some I'm going to leave fairly large. Like so. Your personal preference, how you like your broccoli cheddar soup. I don't want all small pieces. I do want some bigger chunks of broccoli. Personal preference. This serving here is for 2 people. So if you're wanting to feed a family of 4, just double the recipe. You guys know once you cook broccoli and you start to stir it, it breaks apart. So there will be smaller pieces in your broccoli, but I'm going to leave it to this size here. All right, so the onions and butter has cooked down. I'm cooking my onions until they're clear. You don't want to overcook them, and you definitely don't want to burn them, because burnt onions does not taste good in broccoli cheddar soup. So you want to make sure that you don't burn them. I'm adding in my flour. So I started off with a ½ cup of chicken broth, and I'm just mixing that in with the onions, garlic, and flour. So far I've added onions, garlic, a ½ cup of chicken broth, and I added in a mix of heavy cream and milk. I turn my eye down to low simmer because I do not want it to cook too fast, because I still got to add these other ingredients in. I was talking when I should have been chopping a little bit faster. I do prefer shredded carrots, but as I mentioned earlier, I do not have a grater with larger holes. The one that I have for the cheese, I tried it and it just turned the carrots into mush, so they didn't work. So I'm trying to make these pieces as small as possible. And I do have shredded carrots in the store. I do prefer to cut my own carrots, so I guess the next time out shopping I look for a grater for carrots, because it is soup season and I will be making a lot of soups on my channel for the fall. So just a little bit of advice: pre-cut your broccoli, your carrots, your onions, and everything in advance, because this does thicken fairly quickly. I need to get these carrots and broccoli in so that they can cook before it gets too thick. So pre-cut your ingredients before starting. But I am filming a video, so I didn't do that beforehand. I guess I could have. Adding in the carrots. The broccoli. And if you want to, it's personal preference, you can add in the cheese before you add in the other ingredients. I'm going to add in the cheese last. Now I'm adding in a ½ cup chicken broth. So I'm going to let that slow simmer while I grate the cheese. I'm going to give you a close-up so you can see what it looks like before I add in the cheese. Already starting to thicken up. Alright, so I'm adding in cheddar cheese. Then I'm adding in Parmesan cheese. Oh, it smells so good. With all the ingredients that I've added so far, looking at this, you can feed about 3 people instead of 2. Or 2 and some leftovers. And put the rest of this cheese in there. This is sharp cheddar cheese that I'm using. I have some Velveeta cheese, and I'm only going to use a half a package of this cheese here. Just a half. Mix it all in. I'm going to give that cheese a minute to melt. Once it melts, I'm going to do a taste test and then let it slow simmer for about 15 minutes for the broccoli and carrots to cook. It's very flavorful. All right. Add in the salt and pepper. I'm gonna let it simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes and I'll be back. Perfect. My soup is done. I'm going to have it in a delicious bread bowl. If you guys are looking for these bread bowls, I got this one here from Walmart, so check your local Walmart. You should also be able to find it at a bakery. Let me do a taste test. Oh, that's delicious. You see the thickness of it? It's not runny. It's perfect. It turned out better than expected. Delicious. Gonna do that taste test. Oh, that's delicious. Delicious. That's very good. Very delicious. All right, guys, that's it. If you give this recipe a try, please let me know. Check the description box below for the ingredients that I used in today's recipe. As always, I appreciate you guys watching my videos. I see you in the next video. Bye.